Lassiter Factor.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This is your boy Bangful B of the Lassiter Factor, and for this video that highlights the best and worst of 2024, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite documentaries that I watched throughout 2024, whether they came out during the year or came out during another year, and I just finally got them. The past couple of years, I've had a fond appreciation for documentaries and how good they can be and how informative they can be. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to give some love to some of these documentaries. So let's talk about the best documentaries that I watched in 2024. Now first, I want to give glory to some documentaries that I saw this year but was not released this year, but I still found some time to go see. First, starting with Senior, which is a documentary that was released on Netflix, and it is about the relationship between Robert Downey Jr. and his father, Robert Downey Sr. This came out a few years ago, and I finally got a chance to watch it, especially after Robert Downey Jr. won an Oscar last year for Oppenheimer. This documentary does get into the relationship between the two of them, how it affected their careers and their lives. But through it all, they still managed to maintain a relationship, especially in the last few years of Robert Downey Sr.'s life. We even get to see how he influenced Robert Downey Jr. and how Robert Downey Jr. strives to be a better person and a better father than Sr. was. I definitely recommend this if you want to know more about Robert Downey Jr. and his relationship with his father. And it also highlights Robert Downey Sr.'s career. Then there's Robin's Wish, which is about the life of Robin Williams, but it's also about the mental state of Robin Williams during the latter half of his life. Now, as much as we all love Robin Williams, we all know he had his demons. He definitely struggled with mental health, and this documentary highlights how he had a mental illness that definitely affected the way he felt about himself. Now, I don't know where it's playing now, but I just remember watching it for free on YouTube. It still might be. But overall, if you're a fan of Robin Williams, I highly recommend this one right here. Then Thriller 40, which is basically a celebration on the anniversary of the Michael Jackson album, Thriller. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's one of the best-selling albums of all time. This documentary highlights basically the whole Thriller era of Michael Jackson's life and career. It goes in depth on how he made the album, the success of the album, and how the album continued to influence countless others. I most definitely recommend this if you're a fan of Michael Jackson and his Thriller album. And finally, Hot Potato, which is a documentary about the Wiggles. Now, the Wiggles, they're a little after my time, even though they've been around for a long time, but I remember them because my two youngest sisters, they used to watch them on Playhouse Disney, and I know a little bit about them here and there, but this documentary definitely does go in depth about before their success and how they came together, the struggles that they endured. This one is definitely one to watch if you're a fan of the Wiggles at one point. And now, here are the 8 documentaries that I saw in 2024 and how I rank them. And coming in at number 8 is Fallen Idols, which is, I guess you could say, a docu-series about Nick Carter and all the women and other individuals, including his own brother, Aaron Carter, rest in peace, that Nick Carter harmed. This was definitely the year of people in Hollywood getting exposed, and Nick Carter was one of them. We all know him from the Backstreet Boys. He is the older brother of Aaron Carter. Again, rest in peace. This documentary interviews all the women that he harmed throughout the years in his career, including Melissa Schumann, who is part of this pop group that I vividly remember. It even goes into his turbulent relationship with Aaron Carter. It does highlight how Nick Carter is not all peaches and cream or just not a perfect person. And we all know that. Look at the family that he is a part of. And more than half of his siblings have all passed on. Now, as of now, I don't know what's going to become of Nick Carter, but judging from what I saw in this documentary, it's not looking too good for him. And whether you believe it or not, that's up to you. But I just felt this docuseries was a good little expose on him. At number 7 is Child Star, which is the directorial debut of singer Demi Lovato, where she interviews different former child actors like Kenan Thompson, Christina Ricci, Raven Simone. I felt this documentary was also a good expose on former child stars and how they came up within the industry and how it affected them as people and how they rise above that. And some of them, they went through a couple of things here and there, but overall, some of them, like Christina Ricci, she still had a good tribe surrounding her so that she wouldn't fall to the trials and tribulations of being a child star. And it was good of Demi Lovato to do something like this, because we all know her struggles. And she even showed that better procedures are being taken to ensure that child stars that are coming up right now are better taken care of and that they will come up better people. At number 6 is Martha, which is a documentary about the life and career of Martha Stewart. And prior to this documentary, I'll be honest, I really did not know, well, I knew of Martha Stewart, but I really did not know what she was really known for. And this documentary definitely highlighted what she is known for. I mean, she really is the original influencer. She was a homemaker, she was a businesswoman. It even highlight what she went to jail for, which I honestly did not know what she even really went to jail for. I just remember it was super publicized in the media, but even after that, she still made a name for herself and had a second life with Snoop Dogg. The documentary ends with Beautiful by Snoop Dogg and Pharrell and Charlie Wilson playing during the end credits. This documentary was not only a good expose, but a celebration on all her accomplishments. At number 5 is Gary, which is a documentary about the life of Gary Oldman. Talk about child stars. This guy definitely had a hard life. We all know him from the show Different Strokes, his health struggles, and his personal life. And the way this documentary presents all that, I felt was excellent. It's currently streaming on Peacock. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Different Strokes and want a little deep dive on this man's life. At number 4 is The Greatest Night in Pop, which is on Netflix, and it is about how the pop stars of yesteryear, with all their talent and all their ego, they check that ego at the door, and they all come together for the sake of possibly saving lives. And they make We Are the World. We all know this song. It had singers like Michael Jackson, Bob Dylan, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, Lionel Richie, you name it. This documentary shows the process of everybody coming together and contributing to this song and how successful the song became. And it was also just fun seeing all these different former pop stars through different lenses, particularly Michael Jackson. At number 3 is probably the most controversial documentary or docuseries that came out last year, and that is Quiet on Set, which is a 5 technically, because the 5th episode was basically a reunion episode, but a 4-part docuseries about how all the different stars of Nickelodeon from the 90s and 2000s came up on Nickelodeon, but also how they were harmed by people such as Dan Schneider, the network hiring literal sex offenders, and of course the biggest person that was harmed was Drake Bell. Don't get me started in that alone, but overall this was a good documentary that showed that not everything was all peaches and cream and fun on the Nickelodeon sets. I did a whole review and rant about the things that went on that this documentary showed, but all I got to say is I hope the people that harmed all these different kids who are now adults burn in hell, and that these kids get the healing that they need. Now, these last 2 are the ones I love the most. My number 2, as of when I'm recording this video, I just watched for the 2nd time, and that is Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. I saw this once, and the 2nd time I watched it was with some of my co-workers, and it made one of them cry. This is a great documentary, and like I said, one of the best pieces of Superman content I have ever seen. Because as someone that's not even a huge fan of Superman, to me this documentary, it made me believe in the idea of Superman, but maybe not the character of Superman, but it still made me believe in the man behind the cape, and that is Christopher Reeve. We all know him. He plays Superman, and he had a great career up until that horrific accident, but this documentary showed that even after the accident, he was essentially still Superman. He didn't quite, but still overcame being paralyzed. He went back to work.
He was an advocate for people who are paralyzed and disabled. He still raised a family, and those 3 kids, they still turned out to be great people. It talked about his marriage. What can I really say about this documentary that has not been said? I highly recommend it. It is currently on HBO Max if you have not seen it. But my number 1 favorite documentary of 2024 is Piece by Piece, which is a documentary about singer and producer Pharrell Williams, and it is told through Legos visually. This also happens to be my favorite animated movie of the year. And yeah, the year where we got The Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Transformers 1. This is the animated movie that stood out to me the most. And of course, me being a child of the 90s and early 2000s, this movie also spoke to me on a nostalgic level, just hearing all the different songs that Pharrell produced and some songs that I didn't know that he was a part of. Plus, I just thought it was really unique to tell your story visually through Legos. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. I really do hope you see it, because apparently this movie just didn't get the attention that it needed, and it definitely does. And if you probably heard of this movie but couldn't really vibe with it because it is a Lego movie, please shut up, humble yourself, and just enjoy this movie. Piece by Piece is my favorite documentary of 2024 because of how unique it was and how it spoke to me on a music and nostalgic level.
Thank y'all so much for watching. Have you seen any of these documentaries? If so, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and what do you think is the best documentary that you watched in 2024? This is your boy Bankful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, peace.